Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Committee meeting will start presently. Before we begin today's meeting, Seguin Township acknowledges that we are in the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe peoples in the Huron-Robinson Treaty Area. We recognize and respect the long history of First Nations and Métis peoples on this land, and that this region continues to be home to many thriving First Nations communities that have lived on Turtle Island for time immemorial. Seguin Township is committed to ongoing learning, responsible stewardship of our planet, and building relationships to help create a better future for generations to come. With that, I require a mover and seconder, please, to convene. Moved by Wibb, seconded by Lee. That the Committee of Adjustment for the Corporation of the Township of Seguin hereby convenes at 4 o'clock on Wednesday, October the 8th, 2025. All in favor? And carried. So the Committee of Adjustment hereby convenes a public meeting. As per the Planning Act, applicants and the public can speak at the public meeting. When asked who wishes to speak to an application, please raise your hand, state your name and address, and direct all comments through me. Notice of decisions will be sent to applicants and to the public if requested. Only the prescribed persons as per the Planning Act may appeal a decision or condition of approval within 20 days after the decision. A couple of points of order. Folks joining by Zoom, please remain on mute unless you're addressing the committee. And folks attending in person, if you are addressing us, please approach the podium, and there's a little button on the mic to push so that the folks through the satellite can hear you. So mover and seconder, please, to accept the agenda for today's meeting. Moved by Lee, seconded by Wibb. That the Committee of Adjustment for the Corporation of the Township of Seguin hereby approves the agenda for the October 8th, 2025 hearing. All in favor? And carried. Paper. And one more time, a mover and seconder, please, to accept the minutes of the previous meeting. Moved by Wibb, seconded by Lee. That the Committee of Adjustment for the Corporation of the Township of Seguin hereby accepts as read and circulated the minutes of its last meeting that took place Wednesday, September the 10th, 2025. All in favor? Carried. And asking for disclosure of pecuniary interests for today's applications. Any conflicts anyone has to declare? None heard. So moving on to applications, I will ask the Secretary Treasurer to introduce our first application, please.
The purpose of minor variance application A-2025-0029H for Neller is to permit a reduced front yard setback for a shed and guest cabin and an increased lot coverage within 60 meters of the shoreline. No formal correspondence was received.
Okay, thank you. So does anyone wish to address us? Just so you know, we do have all the full reports from council and from, or at least from planning and from yourself. So we don't need the whole thing, but if there's something you need to update us on, please go ahead.
Hello, members of the committee and members of the public who are online. My name is Claire. I'm a planner with MP Planning, and I'm representing Mr. Neller and his father, who are the property owners. I understand that the recommendation is to defer today, so we'll just preface by saying that we would like to defer and maybe have further discussions with the planner. I wonder if it's possible to provide a bit more background and context at this time to the application.
If it's something that we don't already have, or you just want to solidify, then please do.
Okay, yeah, I think it might be helpful. So this application arose as many do. The property owner was given misinformation about the shoreline setback, was told it was only 50 feet instead of 66, and went ahead and constructed thinking that he was meeting all the regulations. Once he received the order to comply, he hired MP Planning to help him understand what the planning regulations are and determine what the path forward could be. So I did a site visit, and visiting the site, it's pretty evident that the location he chose makes a lot of sense. It's already clear, there's no vegetation. The other options for the boat storage shed would have been where the septic field are, where the septic field is, and where bedrock or other setbacks can't be met. Where bedrock is located and where other setbacks can't be met. So I just wanted to share that information. I also wanted to share that initially the request was just for the boat storage shed, but the planner recommended that after identifying the guest cabin as being a structure without permits, recommended that we include that in the request. So we added it to the request. Unfortunately, it seems to have become a reason to not consider the boat storage shed in the first place, because it's looking like overdevelopment and a higher concentration of structures. So I wouldn't mind looking further into the guest cabin. We don't have any permit records ourselves. I looked back into the aerial imagery. I can only see as far back as 2006. So I'm wondering if the township has any records that we can look into later on. I'm getting the idea that you would like me to. Yeah.
Yeah, we can investigate further and we can have further
Yeah.
discussions
Okay.
if a deferral occurs today.
Okay,
Yeah.
sounds good. I have a lot more that I could talk about, but given the preamble about how you have the information in the report, I'll leave it at that, and we can talk further afterward, it sounds like. Okay, are the property owners able to speak at all?
If you wish, yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I could say more, but I think we'll probably end up talking about that. Thanks. Yeah, I'll let Kyle.
Yeah. Okay, the mic is on? Hi, hello,
Green,
hello
the
committee. I'm
green light's
Kyle.
on, then you are live, yeah.
Okay, I'm Kyle
Yes.
Neller. It's my dad, Michael. So initially we bought the cottage 5 years ago. The guest cabin was already there. It looks like it's been there for at least 40, 50 years. It's really old and needs a little bit of upgrading to it. And initially, yeah, there was an open space where they used to store boats. So I figured to build something to store the boats over the winter so I wouldn't have to shrink wrap them and sorts. And then also the guest cabin has a whole bunch of, it's like a bunkie just by the fire pit. Been there a long time. I didn't really want to shed light on it because I figured it was grandfathered in from the previous owners. It's built a long time ago. But we were told that maybe it's best that we recognize it. So we brought it. And I'd just like to say that this whole process has been pretty stressful. I've put in a lot of time and a lot of money myself building this and stuff. So I appreciate your time. And I just wanted to fill you in about the guest cabin, the old bunkie, where it's just like shovels and a bunch of boating stuff, which I'd like to put that over to the garage and then make it more like a cleaner bunkie where people could sit in. But nonetheless, I just wanted to fill you in on yeah, the time and the stress and the money, and I pretty much do anything to try and keep it rather than tear it down. I'm not sure if it would be worse for me to tear it down or keep it or move it. Where I put it, it was already cleared. They'd already parked things there. To move it, I'd probably have to cut down trees and stuff. So, and the water, it does go up and down. Like when we measure it, it's 48 now. Before it was 42, and the back corner is 60 instead of. So it's on a little bit of an angle. So the front corner is 48 now, and the back corner is 60. But in high tide, it's about 42, and the back corner, I'm not sure, a little closer. But just to fill you in, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Committee comments, questions? Yes.
There was no permit on that building, correct?
On the one that I built, no.
Okay.
But the bunkie down, sorry. Yes. So on the one that that I built, no. I was in the process of getting one, but I had started before thinking that I was in clearance of the water from an old real estate agent that used to live in the area. But the one that's been there forever, it was there when we had it, and I figured it was just grandfathered in. Like I never touched it. It's by the fire pit and it's been there. It looks like it's at least 40, 50 years old when they built the cottage. So I figured initially it was okay. It was grandfathered in, but she was told that maybe we should try and recognize it, which cost me more money. And now it's almost looking like I'm worried that the old structure has to come down that's been there for a long time.
So we're referring to that structure right down by the water.
Yeah, so there's an old shed by the fire pit and then a storage shed I built. So there's like two now because we're trying to recognize an old one that's been there for a very long time.
Okay, when you bought the property, did you remove any trees?
No, because what I built for the storage shed, it was already an open area where they would already park like their canoes and boats. So I just kind of wanted to put cover and walls to further store my boat so I wouldn't have to shrink rack it. But where I built it, it was actually already an open area with all the trees, everything was flat. I didn't have to remove anything.
So as such, there's been no inspections?
No. I think someone came down like a month ago, or actually, well, I had Matt Keen come down once or twice. So I've been speaking to him on and off. And that's about it though, about the process and everything I have to do. But yeah, where I built the storage shed, there was already an open area where they would park boats. And it was nothing, it was already a flat and open. And the bunkie they were referring to, that thing's been there forever. And now I feel like it's more of a process to bring that to light.
Okay, well, I guess what I'm referring to though is just the structure down by the water because I cross the Broad River Bridge 3, 4, 5, 6 times a week.
Mhm.
And I've watched that right from day one, I think.
Yeah.
And then everything stopped.
Well, the reason why I stopped was because I was in the process of getting a permit and I didn't want to continue to put siding on it because I'm going to spend another like say 5-10 grand on siding.
Mhm.
And like I did the metal roof, the tin roof and I sheet the walls and put Tyvek up, but I
Mhm.
didn't want to continue with siding if I wasn't able to keep it. That's the only reason I've stopped and it doesn't look that nice without siding on it. But yeah, the process has cost me a lot of money, especially with the planning company now, because I was getting kind of too stressful to go through the permit process myself. I've done all the drawings myself and I was back and forth with coming in the town hall and stuff. And I figured I needed help and I'm busy at home, work and family. So I got MP planning to help me. And yeah, it's been a long process. And I think the structure cost me at least, 25, 30 grand to build. I had a couple of Red Seal carpenters from my union come in and help me and come down on weekends. And then I went with a planning company, and this is costing me right now upwards of $20,000 for her help and services for MP planning. And yeah, and so that's where we're at right now.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Yeah, go. I just have a quick question. Maybe either one of you can answer, but I'm just, I'm a little surprised that a building that size would be built without a permit. I mean, bunkies, it's sort of common knowledge you can build a small bunkie without a permit, but this is a biggish building and quite visible. I mean, you did hire a planner after the fact, but I'm just wondering why that didn't come up front.
Yeah, it was definitely not the best decision to plan it proceeding. And I planned on putting a shed roof on it, like just a little slope roof. And one of my good friends, the carpenter, he wanted to go with a gable roof, which I thought it makes it a lot bigger because of the gable roof and a lot higher. But originally I planned to just put a slope shed roof on it, just to shed water and cover it for boats and like inflatables and shovels and stuff like tools.
Okay, thank you. Okay, one last comment. Go ahead. Yeah.
They keep calling it a bunkie, right? But it's just a shed. It's just a shed that we put the fishing rods in and shovels. It's not, there's no beds in there. No, you know what I mean? It's just a shed.
Yeah, I understand. I don't know if there's
Yeah.
if
Okay.
that makes a
thank you.
big difference at this point, but
Yeah, we can discuss with the planner on file for the application whether that structure is actually a guest cabin or a shed, the smaller one. We were advised that it was a guest cabin, but if that is not true, then we can look into that further.
Trust me.
okay, one last, anything else from committee or planning? Oh, sorry, can we just get you to tap the mic off, please? Thank you. Go ahead, Lee.
The structure, it's intended, regardless of what the use is, it's intended that it'll be inspected once a building permit is issued, if you go that way. So it's intended that you'll bring it into code.
Yes. Quick one, yes.
I'm sorry, it's my first time at this committee, so I'm not entirely familiar with how much we can say or not say, but something that I think is important for the committee members to know is that the water portion of this lot is zoned EP. So I know this is in the report, but I'd like to say it out loud. It means that they can't have a boathouse unless they have approval from DFO. So rather than going that route, he's gone and built this structure. But the truth is, it's a waterfront property. The purpose for him as a seasonal resident is to come and enjoy the water. Having a boat storage shed is sort of the next best thing you can have if you can't have a boathouse. The footprint is really because you need it sheltered large enough to fit a couple boats inside it. That's why it's the size that it is. In terms of visual impact, that was a significant component of the staff report. I would say that a boathouse would be much more of a visual impact being right on the water than a storage shed being set back 16 meters. And then the other thing that came to mind was about fish habitat. That's part of the staff report as well as, potential runoff and fish habitat impacts. I would say that if it were a boathouse in the water, it would have more of an impact on the fish habitat than being on land the way that it is. One of the things I'd like to talk to the planner about is the marine facility. As a permitted use, the definition is a structure for the storage of boats, and it's under the shoreline structures section, but it's not clear on whether or not it can be exempt from the front yard setback. So I think this would be like a marine storage shed, dry land boathouse. It's not for parking cars or anything. It's really for the use of the water on the property. So I just wanted to add a couple of those points.
Okay, thank you. And I think that discussion may be coming with you down the road, but I think we have heard everything we need to hear at the time to, anything else from, otherwise if you're in agreement, planning has recommended deferral, and it seems like there are still some things for you to talk about to make this perhaps a little more, acceptable. So if you're fine with that and committee is agreeing, then we'll go to the exercise of deferring this. So we'll go ahead. Mover and seconder, please, to bring the application forward. Moved by Lee, seconded by Wibb. That the Committee of Adjustment hereby approves variance application A-2025-0029-H for Neller to legalize an existing non-complying shed and guest cabin with the following variances to zoning bylaw 2006-125. Under bylaw sections 4.1.2, 4.1.6C, and 6.3, table 6.2. Minimum front yard setback for a shed permitted is 20 meters, proposed is 13. Variance required would have been 7 meters. Secondly, under sections 4.1.2, 4.1.6C, and 4.1.10B, and 6.3, table 6.2. Minimum front yard setback for a guest cabin, 20 meters is permitted, proposed is 10.4, for a variance of 9.6 meters. And variance number 3, section 6.3 of table 6.3, maximum lot coverage within 60 meters of the shore, 7.5% permitted, proposed is 8.6, and the variance would be 1.1%. The original conditions for this were the extent of the variances will conform to that shown on the submitted plans attached to the appendix of this decision, and that the owner applies for and obtains a building permit for the guest cabin and shed within 3 years of the date of decision of the committee. So at this point, I will ask for a mover and seconder to defer this instead of bringing it to vote. So moved by Lee, seconded by Wibb. That we defer this decision to allow the applicant time to confer with planning department. So I'll just pencil that in. Okay, so calling for vote then on the deferral so that the applicant may confirm further with the planning department. Carried. So has been deferred to allow you some time to look into this a little further. Thanks for attending. We have some further applications, so we're carrying on. So I will ask actually the secretary treasurer to introduce the next one.
The purpose of minor variance application A 2025 0032H for Bosnar is to permit additional deck area above an existing boathouse and boat port. No formal correspondence was received.
Okay, thank you. It looks like we have, is it Jack Lorenz?
Yep.
Would you like to tell us anything about this?
Yeah, good morning or good afternoon, Chair and committee members. Jack Lorenz, 370 Phillip Street East, Gravenhurst, Ontario, P1P1G9. I don't have anything additional to say. If you have any questions, then I'm here to address them. So,
Okay, super, thank you. Stand by, committee members. Any questions, comments? Okay. None heard, so we'll bring this forward to vote then. So mover and seconder, please. Moved by Lee, seconded by Wibb. That the Committee of Adjustment hereby approves variance application A-2025-0032-H for Bosnar for additional open deck area above the boathouse/boat port with the following variance to zoning bylaw 2006-125. Under section 4.28.2E, maximum combined surface area of all docks, including any attached fingers and open decks above the water, permitted is 168 square meters, proposed is 214 square meters for a variance of 46 square meters. Subject to the following conditions, the extent of the variances will generally conform to that shown on the submitted plans attached to the appendix of the decision. And number two, that the owners obtain a revision to the issued building permit to construct the boathouse/boat port within 3 years of the date of decision of the Committee of Adjustment. All in favor? And carried.
The application has been approved. You'll get a letter in the next few days notifying you of the decision, and the 20-day appeal period starts now.
thank you.
Okay, thanks for attending. Okay, last application, please, Madam Secretary.
The purpose of minor variance application A-2025-0033H for Crombie is to permit additional lot coverage within 60 meters of the shoreline for a dwelling addition. Comments in support of the application have been received from Sue and Judd Whiteside.
Okay, thank you. Do we have someone speaking on behalf of the owners?
Yes, good afternoon, Chair. My name is Jonathan Pock. I'm a senior planner at Morgan Planning and Development. I did have a presentation prepared, but I did hear your preamble to the meeting and efforts to keep my presentation down. I'll just flip through a few slides just to give some background for committee members and members of the public tuning in. So the application for committee this afternoon is proposal variance application to increase lot coverage for the subject.
I'm sorry, I'm going to have to stop you for 1 second. Your connection is not great. We see your presentation, but the voiceover is very choppy.
Let's try without the headphones. Can you hear me okay?
It's good at the moment. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So the application before committee this afternoon is to permit a increase in lot coverage for the subject property within 200 feet of the shoreline. And the purpose of the application is to facilitate the construction of an addition to a legal non-complying dwelling. The addition proposed would measure almost 70 square meters, and it's located on the screen in front of you to the south of the existing dwelling shown in yellow. There was in order to accommodate the proposed dwelling, there is or proposed addition to the dwelling. There is one tree that's proposed to be removed, shown in red in this area here at the rear of the dwelling, but everything to the south and between the existing dwelling and the shoreline would be maintained in its natural state. And our clients have also committed to, since purchasing the property, have made commitments to plant more vegetation where they see fit on the property. We have reviewed the staff report and recommended conditions, and have no concerns or additional questions with regard to that. So we support staff's opinion to approve the minor variance before committee this afternoon. If there are any questions, do my best to answer them. Thank you.
Okay, good. Thanks. Yeah, stand by. So just so you know, I think your headphones might have an issue. It was fine without them. So committee, any comments, questions? Okay, none heard. So we'll look for a mover and seconder to bring it to vote. Moved by Lee, seconded by Wibb. That the Committee of Adjustment hereby approves variance application A-2025-0033-H for Crombie to construct a 69.9 square meter one-story addition to the existing dwelling on the property with the following variance to zoning bylaw 2006-125. Under bylaw section 6.3, table 6.3, maximum lot coverage within 60 meters of the shore. 7.5% is permitted, proposed is 8.8% for a variance of 1.3%. Subject to the following conditions. Number one, the extent of the variance will generally conform to that shown on the submitted plans attached to the appendix of the decision. And number two, that the owner applies for and obtains the required permits to construct the addition to the dwelling within 3 years of the date of decision of the Committee of Adjustment. All in favor? And carried.
The application has been approved. You will get a letter in the next few days notifying you of the decision, and the 20-day appeal period starts now.
Thank you, members of committee and staff, for your time and effort on this file. Have a good afternoon. Thank you.
Thanks for attending. Yeah, bye-bye. Okay, other business. Anyone have, Lauren has business. Go ahead, Lauren.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So on Monday, council approved a new member of committee, Jim Stern. So he will be attending, I believe he's away the November meeting, but he will be attending the December meeting. So going along with that, staff will be holding a training afternoon for the new member. So if any existing committee members feel like taking a refresher on committee stuff, you're more than welcome to attend. Otherwise, we'll be doing some training with the new member, and he'll be up and running for if he can't attend in the November hearing, then the December hearing.
Okay. Yeah, let us know when that might take place. I may come.
Yeah, well, I'll send off an email. Yeah, I'll send off an email to committee members and let them know once we finalize a couple of dates.
Okay, good. Good to know. Any other new business? Okay, then I'll look for a motion to adjourn and a mover and seconder, please. Moved by Wibb, seconded by Lee. That the Committee of Adjustment for the Corporation of the Township of Seguin does hereby adjourn this hearing at 4:29 p.m. on Wednesday, October the 8th, 2025. The committee will hold its next hearing at 4 p.m. on Wednesday, November the 12th, 2025, or at the call of the chair unless the Secretary Treasurer has not received complete applications for committee consideration. All in favor? Carried. Thanks, everyone.